Basel, Switzerland, hidden in plain sight, nestled in a concrete tower resembling something from a Cold War spy novel, sits the most powerful financial institution in the world. Doesn't print money, issue loans to everyday people, or make headlines like the Federal Reserve or the European Central Bank. But behind closed doors, the Bank for International Settlements, BIS, quietly orchestrates the rules of the global financial game, a game where most players don't even know who holds the whistle. Welcome to the Bank of Central Banks.
Let's start with this. This is all happening at the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS.
The BIS, as it was known, would be the central bank to Europe's national banks.
This BIS crowd, Bank of International Settlements, it's a central bank for central bankers.
The international banking cartel that controls the central banks operates under the rules set by an international body called the Bank for International Settlements.
It keeps its head low. It's owned by the same families.
Well, I always say the BIS is the most important bank in the world that you've almost certainly never heard of.
Founded in 1930, the BIS began as a way to manage World War I reparations. But like many institutions born in the chaos of war, it evolved and then grew teeth. Today, it serves 63 central banks, representing over 95% of global GDP. Its mission? To foster international monetary and financial cooperation and serve as a bank for central banks. But that's the polished, public-facing description. What happens inside the BIS is far more consequential and far less transparent. The BIS doesn't answer to any democratic government. Its staff enjoys diplomatic immunity. Its meetings are closed to the press. And once a month, some of the most powerful economic actors on the planet, the heads of the world's central banks, fly into Basel for secretive meetings in which the fate of global economies can be quietly nudged. Think of the BIS as a boardroom for global monetary policy. While each country has its own central bank, they often face the same problems: inflation, financial crises, liquidity shortages. At the BIS, these banks talk strategy, share warnings, and, some believe, coordinate responses. During the 2008 financial crisis, the BIS became a kind of nerve center. While politicians were caught in partisan gridlock, central bankers found refuge at the BIS, comparing notes and quietly laying the groundwork for stimulus, rate cuts, and quantitative easing that would later ripple across markets. It wasn't the first time, and it wouldn't be the last. Critics argue that this makes the BIS something close to a shadow government for the world's financial system, unelected, unaccountable, and incredibly influential. Walk into the BIS headquarters and you're stepping into a sovereign zone. Swiss laws don't apply here. BIS employees aren't subject to income tax. The Swiss government itself agreed to grant the BIS legal immunity, ensuring that it operates above national laws. This level of autonomy might be understandable for a diplomatic mission, but for a bank? There's no other institution on Earth with this kind of insulation and this much reach into the global financial systems. As a former IMF economist, speaking under condition of anonymity. Not even the Fed or the ECB has that. And unlike the IMF or World Bank, the BIS doesn't need public approval to make moves. Its influence is structural. It trains central bankers, hosts high-level strategy meetings, and develops the very frameworks that define how the modern banking system functions, from capital requirements to systemic risk protocols. It doesn't govern directly, but it sets the tone. And in global finance, that tone is everything. At the center of its power lies the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, a BIS offshoot responsible for setting global banking standards. Heard of Basel III? That framework, as a direct BIS product, dictates how much capital banks around the world must hold to avoid another 2008-style meltdown. And yet, these rules are crafted in rooms no journalist can enter, by people no citizen ever elected. To defenders, this is the beauty of the BIS, efficient, expertise-driven policy free from the chaos of politics. To critics, it's a chilling portrait of unaccountable global governance. If the 21st century has taught us anything, it's that transparency matters. From Panama Papers to cryptocurrency collapses, the world has become wary of black boxes, and yet the BIS remains opaque. No public transcripts, no FOIA requests, no congressional oversight. The only people who truly understand what happens inside the BIS are the ones already sitting at the table. That is, I'm asking uncomfortable questions. Who is the BIS really working for? Is it guarding financial stability? or guarding the interests of the elite financial system it was built to protect. As central banks flirt with digital currencies, climate risk stress tests, and AI-driven economic models, the BIS is once again positioning itself as a guide. It's launched its own innovation hub, tested prototype CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and warned about crypto volatility before many national regulators caught on. The next chapter of global finance is being written, and once again, BIS pens are on the page. But as the BIS becomes more influential, its lack of transparency becomes harder to ignore. The stakes are high, trillions of dollars, sovereign economies, public trust, and yet most people have never even heard its name. Maybe that's the point. In an age where the public is demanding more openness from institutions of power, the BIS remains a fortress of silence. It may not steal headlines, but it shapes them. The question is, should the world's most powerful financial institution remain this invisible? Or is it time to draw back the curtain on the bank that banks on secrecy?